Hey y'all, it's Kobe R. Rice, and I'm back again for another weekly creative update for literally like the third time. I was having some serious technical issues, and it looks like I'm still having some of them. So just bear with me. If the video is not all that great, I apologize. This week's update is actually going to be pretty quick, and thankfully so, because again, the video software is still a little cray cray. But there are only about 2 weeks left before graduate school jumps up and bites me in the face again. Literally, I start my classes 2 weeks from today. And the first week is going to be primarily kind of just getting back into the grind and the motion of things, but also preparing for the upcoming 5 to 6 weeks of directing and dramaturgy that we'll be doing for our fall 10-minute play festival. So that will be exciting. It will also probably be very nerve wracking, but it is what it is. And you guys know what the deal is with that. And if you've been on the podcast for a while now, you guys know that I did have some very interesting challenges with my last directing experience. And so I'm hoping to take those lessons and the strength that I built up from overcoming those challenges into this new experience. Although I expect this experience to be a lot different because the format is different and also the team is different in terms of the leadership and the support that we're getting. So I'm really excited as to, how that's going to shake out. But essentially, guys, this is my final year of my graduate program. And after this, I'll finally, God willing, inshallah, be able to go back to New York with my little one and spend a lot more time with my family and with my friends and just be in the amazingness that is New York City. So I'm super excited about that. I'm looking forward to that. And between now and then, I not only have this directing opportunity and my final 2 to 3 classes, but I also have my master's thesis and my master's comp. Don't ask me to explain why exactly we have a comp for an MFA program, but being that this is a dramaturgy program, there are some things theoretically, historically, and dramaturgically, of course, that we have to show that we have down in terms of concepts and analysis and things like that. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's just a little off-putting, and it can be a little nerve-wracking in terms of that having to be a milestone that we have to overcome. Having said that, though, I have been thinking a lot about my future, and this is a great time to start thinking about it because I'm on the supposed eve of me leaving the program. And so, ironically enough, I've actually been considering another 2 year program, which it'll probably a part-time program if I get in, that is, in New York, dealing specifically with the technical and practical applications and uses of equipment and styles and conventions in the filmmaking industry. So basically, I am considering applying to a couple film schools in New York, which would be nice to get scholarships for, but because those are not so prevalent, I will probably be working and also doing that on the side. Possibly, maybe. It really depends. You don't really need to go to film school in order to learn how to shoot film, but there's something about the structure of the program that I'm looking at that is very intriguing to me. They're also interested in dramaturgical intersections between my field and the filmmaking field. So that really caught my interest. And that's just one of many different pathways I'm thinking about in terms of my career. Obviously, my dream is to get Rebel Ragdoll as a fempire, as a media fempire, up and running and self-sustaining and making its own money. But being that that is a long-term game and gain, I am also looking at alternative paths in terms of just being able to support myself and my child in the artistic and creative field while I'm also building up my own company. I sort of came to Jesus in a lot of ways. This is my come to Jesus moment. Just sort of realizing what it is artists really have to do in order to make their dreams come true and make their dreams come alive. And Unfortunately, not all of us, most of us don't have the disposable income to just sit back and chill and pay for everything while, we're just working on our art or our dreams. Like, I would love to have that kind of disposable income, and I know that I will one day, but it might not be in the time frame that I originally planned. Like, by this time next year, I would love to be making an independent income, or at least a livable wage, from all the endeavors that I'm working on right now. But who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to pop off this time next year? By this time next year, rather. And so, I have to look at all these different other options in terms of self-support and self-sustenance. All of these things happen, right? Plus, I have a little one depending on me, so I can't just, roam the world and, at my whim and eat ramen noodles out the back of a car, I mean, which is essentially like, I wouldn't really care so much about doing that or living that way if I didn't have someone else that was depending on me. Actually, if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't even be in the country, to be really real. You guys might know, I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast, but in 2011, I took a super amazing, incredible backpacking trip overseas. My first trip overseas, and I went by myself, and I backpacked through like 22 cities, 13 countries in Europe. I would like to do that again at some point for all the continents. I'm thinking about doing Africa next, so just bear with me. And I just loved it. It was the most amazing thing I had ever done in my life up to that point. And it was truly eye-opening. And I really literally was making plans to move to Paris as of 2013. Of course, life had changed in between then, and I had realized I wanted to go into television writing and Hollywood and things like that as well. But that had always been a goal of mine, to live overseas. Now that I have a child, I probably won't be able to do that, although I will be probably making many more trips overseas with my little one in tow. But, these are sort of things that I would be doing, if I were child-free. But since I'm not, you always have to make sure that you are taking care of your responsibilities while also continuing to pursue your dream, even if it's an incremental pursuit. Anyway, I don't want to get too far off track. Like I said, this is not going to be that long of a podcast, because I have really been working specifically on one or two things, in the past 7 days. I have taken a lot of time for self-care, and because graduate school is coming up, I am making sure to take extra time for self-care, meaning that like I am now slowing down literally to the 10th power in these next 2 weeks. Actually, it started this past week, in terms of just relaxing, sleeping in, doing literally whatever it is I want to do, even if it's not an artistic thing, watching more movies, of course with an analytical eye, I can't really escape that, watching more TV, just like reading more books, obviously, because I'm a nerd and I love that. Finishing up some courses that I want to make sure are off my plate before the semester starts. I've really just taken this last week, and I will be taking these next 2 weeks coming up, just taking that time just to do me, because I know once the school year gets started, it's going to be pretty much all about graduate school and fitting in my art where I can, in addition to being a mom and working and TAing and things like that. And I just want to make sure that I am well rested and well taken care of prior to that. So not only is this week's update pretty short, but next week's and the week after, those updates will also probably be pretty short, as I whittle down my to-do list to maybe one or two things per week, literally. So what is the one or two things I got done this past week? I guess actually I still got kind of like a lot of stuff done, but not nearly as much as I usually would, which is why this podcast is titled The Chill Before the Plunge. Okay. So last week I did a little bit of marketing, actually, as our our box set for the dystopian anthology project we're working on. As the deadline for that comes closer and closer, we are starting to get all of our stuff together. So there has been a lot of back and forth between myself and the leader of the box set and the other wingman and the 9 other authors, in terms of just organizational points and things like that we're trying to put together before the release of our dystopian anthology, which is entitled Uprising. We just got back from the leader of the box set the cover design and the cover art, and it is incredible. I love it. I fought for this version of the cover art. That's not me taking credit for it at all. But I have to say, we had some options, and your girl knew exactly which one to pick, and in the end of the day, your girl was right. So I think this cover art is going to be incredible. I'm super excited about it. The dystopian box set is just, everybody who's in it is looking really awesome. So I'm really excited about that. That is up and coming. I believe our release date right now is Monday, September 17th. So look forward to that. I'm feeling really, really productive this year, and it's really great. Oh, also, FYI, guys, The Camille is now available at Amazon.com. I'm pretty sure I said that in the past podcast somewhere, but I will put the link to it below. Feel free to check it out. It is free to read in Kindle Unlimited, as I said last time. And if you're not a part of KU, that's totally fine. You can get it, the first episode of 10, rather, for a very reasonable $2.99 worldwide. And as a matter of fact, if you're not in the UK or in the United States, you can probably get the box set even cheaper. So, that's even better. Oh, UK, Europe, and the United States, rather. Okay, so I think that's about that. Yeah, we were just working on that dystopian box set. And I also have been working on, of course, the Bohemian Badass. That is still very much in play. I actually just started working on, and I'm halfway through finishing my very first free downloadable workbook. It is looking delightful and delicious. I found a really lovely workbook template off creativemarket.com, which is an excellent resource for creatives, graphic designers, bloggers, infopreneurs to get basically whatever we need graphic wise under the sun. But since I'm more familiar with stills and pictures and graphic design for like poster kind of things, posters and covers, I had to go and find out where I could get a template for a workbook with the interior pages. And so because I have literally zero practice laying out the interior for magazines and workbooks and things like that, I went to Creative Market and I basically bought a template from somebody who actually knows what she's doing. And then I just edited the template from there. And it's looking amazing. I'm actually really proud of this first workbook that I'm putting together. Not just because it looks great, but also because it's very comprehensive in terms of helping aspiring TV writers to have a really comprehensive and gorgeous checklist in front of them for creating their own independent TV series. Now, right now, the workbook is only 11 pages, but they're 11 gorgeous pages. And there are 6 checklists for each stage of developing your TV series. So I'm really excited about that. But then in the coming weeks, I will also be putting together other worksheets that I will add into that workbook, or I'll just create a separate workbook for it. But these will be other sheets that will actually go through each point on the checklist, giving you activities and questions and things to do so that you can accurately and comprehensively develop your TV series, and just by making sure that you have gone through the battery of questions for each checklist bullet. So the workbook is going to be really intense when it's finally finished, but the first iteration is just going to be an 11-page checklist for each stage of TV series development, just so that, when you're in the middle of the process, you can go back and see what you're missing or what you're not missing. And I'm really excited for this to be basically my first opt-in and my first free gift to offer to my audiences. And I have a lot of free gifts actually available that will be available at the Bohemian Badass that are actually already done. I just have to design them. And I will be offering those in the coming weeks as well. So that's really exciting. That's what I've been working on in the past week. It's been great. I also added in finally the romance and erotica categories, the homepage selection categories, and the pages. And this is for not just romance and erotica, but also for nonfiction. So I finally feel as though all of the offerings, genre-wise and creative path-wise, have been officially fleshed out, at least in terms of what we plan on offering content on. All of those template pages have been pretty much established at the Bohemian Badass, and now it's just about creating that steady weekly or daily content to fill up all of those pages. So right now the Bohemian Badass can/will be offering guidance on, 16 genres in total, which include age genres: new adult, young adult, middle grade, and children. So we have 4 age genres and 12 sort of subject area genres. So survival horror, writing romance, writing erotica, writing adventure and travel, writing thriller, writing crime, writing mystery, writing sci-fi, etc. So we have all of those genres available. And then we have, I believe, a total of 12 creative paths that, it's little by little will be teaching how to develop your skills as, a blogger, or as a TV writer, or as a screenwriter, or as a novelist, etc. So I finally feel as though the offerings of the Bohemian Badass have been completed. And I feel really good about the foundation that I've built, getting the content on there pretty much. So super excited about that. And guys, if the video is choppy, it's, my video right now, my camera is still a kind of a hot mess. So I'm sorry about that. I'm almost done though, I promise. Let's see. Is there anything else that I need to talk about with the Bohemian Badass? No, except the fact that I updated more of our graphic templates, but you guys will get to see that when we start posting more content. When I start posting more content, although I'm actually strongly considering hiring bloggers who will write some really awesome epic content, but I have to really think about that. I got a lot of TV writing and screenwriting done actually this past week, which was interesting. I finished reading Wade Pena and Phil Ziza's book about writing TV series. It really is an amazing book, and after finishing that book and taking all of my notes, I feel like I now have all the information I need to create my own TV series development Bible. So you guys know I've been studying all the greats. I've been studying Shonda Rhimes. I studied, and I'm still studying, the Screenwriting You Create Your Own Binge-Worthy TV course. I've been studying those 2 courses that they're offering. I studied Will Rabkin's books, Writing the Pilot and Writing the Pilot, Creating the Series. And then I studied Wade Pena and Phil Ziza's Developing the TV Series books. And I really feel, after reading and analyzing and sort of taking some from here, taking some from there, that I'm now able to synthesize all of those notes and really create a very comprehensive template. So that's what I did. I finished up my study notes. I'm super excited about it. I reorganized a lot of things in my TV development tools folder, and I feel like I am officially ready to take all of that information and pretty much apply it to the Ezekiel series that I'm working on, and the Camille TV series that I'm also working on simultaneously. And so that's really super exciting. And as a matter of fact, after I was done putting all those notes together, that's exactly what I did. I actually worked on both the Ezekiel TV series and the Camille TV series, just developing concepts and all these things that I need to develop for a TV series. And I actually finished putting together the physical version of the Ezekiel TV Bible binder. So it's great, and I'm really excited. I feel really well educated on the topic, and now I'm ready to apply all those things that I've learned to actual TV development. The only thing that is really I guess the final frontier for me is finishing up the Create Your Binge-Worthy TV courses that I am enrolled in and I'm working through, but I haven't worked through all of the material yet. So I honestly don't really know if there is that much to add, because I'm actually noticing that a lot of these different sources are saying the same thing, but like in different ways. The only person who's being like super duper insanely unique about his approach is Will Rabkin, and that's because he's approaching it not from a this is how you do it way, but from a I've watched all of these TV series and I'm analyzing these TV series and this is what they have in common sort of way. So this is not to say that he's better than everybody else who's teaching. It's just that he's coming at it from a very dramaturgical perspective, and it's really serving not only the works that he's written, but it's serving me in terms of understanding what the engine of a story is for a TV series. And that has been extremely valuable to me. So aside from that, I'm noticing a lot of overlap. And once I finish out these 2 modules, I'm pretty sure I'll be ready to apply my knowledge to my own series and my own development, and also develop my own unique voice and perspective on what I'm seeing as I analyze television series and, streamable series versus network series and things like that. So I'm looking forward to doing that for you guys and basically taking you on the journey with me as I continue to independently develop my own projects. Because honestly, there's nothing better than indie in my personal opinion, except having money. That's probably the best part of working for mainstream television and mainstream studios, is they have like literally millions of dollars. But really, like, that's the only thing that's separating us from the big wigs in Hollywood, right? Is like the money. Just a small thing. Money is just a small thing. Just kidding. I also somehow, I don't know why or how, I got the inspiration to expand a little bit more on another horror film idea that I've had for a while. A while meaning about 6 months to a year, not that long. For some reason, because you guys know at this point, I think I've mentioned this a bunch of times, that one of my favorite horror movies is A Quiet Place. I think it's one of the best survival horror movies literally ever made, probably aside from Aliens, although Alien is more of a survival sci-fi horror. So I'll discuss more of this difference on my actual Bohemian Badass website. But it's one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. One of the best horror thriller movies, survival trap thriller movies that I've seen in a long time. And the other day I just had like the desire to really watch the trailer again, because I also felt like the trailer was one of the best trailers I've seen in a long time, aside from the Avengers Infinity War trailers 1 and 2. Those were really incredible. But I really, really enjoyed the Quiet Place trailer. I mean, the trailer was so good that I saw it and I immediately threw my clothes on and went to go see the movie right then and there. And so because I am really interested in looking at things that punch me in the face emotionally and knock me over, and looking at those things and taking them apart and reverse engineering them, I spent a lot of time yesterday just watching the trailer over and over again, And when I do things like that, not only am I able to further understand the structure, the emotional sort of journey that I'm on, and how they construct a plot, but I also start getting a lot of really great ideas for my own survival horror stuff that I want to write. And so me watching this trailer pretty much engendered a whole bunch of different ideas, and I ended up beating out, when I say beating out, I mean writing out the beats, almost all of the beats of the first act of this other survival horror film, which I am super excited about. So, mind you, I'm not moving away from Sandman, because I actually beat out the first and Act 2A of Sandman already. I'm not moving away from Sandman, but I didn't want to not beat out this first act of this next movie because it would just be stuck in my head. So I got that done as well. So I got some TV writing done and I got some screenwriting done over the weekend. And then finally, pretty much what I did in terms of Creative Uni is that I finished finally the Publisher Thing Audience Magnet Arsenal course, which is incredible. That's the part of Regina's at byregina.com. That's the part of Regina's course that teaches you how to create amazing freebies and opt-ins like quizzes, workbooks, courses, challenges, audio trainings, video trainings, etc., etc. And she teaches you how to do those things in an epic manner to really bring value to your audience so that you can magnetize yourself and your brand to your audience. So just continuing to try my best to level up, obviously always, but in a way this week and in the next 2 weeks it's just more chill, more relaxed, and way more respectful of my limitations and of my time and of my self-care. And so that's what I'm pretty much doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what I've done. And I look forward to a really chill but also kind of productive next 2 weeks now that I've sort of gotten my deep focus back. And I also would like to pick up with more writing for Hollow Point once more. I did rev up the engine on that last week and that felt good. But, it would be nice to have that manuscript done by the end of August, and not in a crazy, oh my gosh, I have to get this done before the deadline. Not in that kind of way, but just in a very, we're just going to work on it a little bit at a time and have fun with it and enjoy the process sort of way. So just trying to keep all the balls up in the air. I'm working on the Ezekiel TV series at the least. And I'm also working on the Camille and then thinking about my screenwriting projects as well. So day by day is how I'm doing it. In any case, I am out of here, guys. Okay, I actually was able to get out of here in under 30 minutes. That's what I mean by short. But it was great connecting again and giving you guys an update. And I am out. So in the meantime, stay badass, keep it indie, keep creating, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.